Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Got my good friend Lance Malone on. Lance is on just about every week here on The Price of Business. Does a phenomenal job talking about what's happening out there in the business fronts and the front lines of business. Really in one of the most important areas for us Texans, which is when it comes to our air conditioning. And here it is in November or actually December, and we're in the 70 degrees. And although it's going to get cold, Texas stays generally hot all the time. We'll take a minute, Lance Malone, and first of all, before you introduce your guest today, tell us a little bit about Standard Supply.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Kevin. It's good to be with you again this morning. I always enjoy being on your show. And Standard Supply is a distributor of heating, air conditioning, refrigeration, and ventilation products. And we have branches all over the state of Texas, and we've been helping contractors be more successful and profitable since 1946.
Gotta love that. Yeah. Standard Supply, by the way, you can learn more about them at ssdhvac.com. Your guest today, sir.
Yes. Our guest today is Chris Noonan. Chris is the owner of Metro Climate Services. That's metroclimateservices.com. And I want to give Chris an opportunity to tell us a little bit about himself and about Metro Climate Services and what they do.
Thank you, Lance. This is Chris. Pleasure to be here. Metro Climate Services was started to help contractors, architects, builders, and even homeowners in the state of Texas do heat loads on people's houses. What that means is we're sizing air conditioners and ductwork correctly. Seems to be one of the things that just slips through the cracks when you talk to contractors. They don't really grasp the concepts behind it, and it is a little bit complex to learn. So that's basically how I started this company, was just to help the contractor and homeowner, making sure they're getting a properly sized system.
Okay, great, Chris. You know, in one of our previous segments, Kevin, we talked about the lack of trained technicians in our industry and how that was going to be one of the biggest problems we would face in the future. And, Chris, I'd like to give you a chance to tell us about something else that you do that may help with that problem.
Yes, I'm a full-time instructor at Tarrant County Community College in the heating, air conditioning, and refrigeration department. I teach troubleshooting, heat pumps, and a residential air conditioning class. Again, it's a 2-year college, and it's very rewarding.
Yeah, let me ask you a little bit about that. That seems to be one area, one industry that you're never going to really have to worry about employment. Isn't that true?
That is correct. Texas is hot, and there's not much you can do about that except have a properly working air conditioning unit. The jobs out there, just pulling some BLS numbers, is slated to grow 34%, which is much faster than average when you're looking at different sectors in industry. So if you can get into air conditioning, you can make a ton of money and be very successful.
Mm-hmm. Lance?
Yeah, Kevin, training is very important in just about any type of business or industry, but it's really important in our industry. And I wanted to ask Chris, why is high-quality training even more important now than it has been in the past?
That's a great question. Everything is going digital, electronic, whatever you want to call it. You have to have multiple skill sets, not only in air conditioning, but electrical and plumbing and computers these days. Everything is going the way of I can look on an iPad and see what somebody's system is doing and or not doing and get a good feel for what's going on.
Yeah,
it's very similar to the automotive industry where, it used to be a lot simpler to be an auto mechanic than it is today, and it's the same for the HVACR industry. It's a lot more difficult and a lot more training is needed.
Yeah, I'm assuming a lot of old timers, Chris, are going back to the classroom these days.
That is true. You'll see our classes are made up from everybody from the 18-year-old student fresh out of high school to the 50-year-old, coming back to retrain, even from the air conditioning business. It's something that you always will learn. You will never learn everything. And it doesn't hurt to get the training, to be successful and to pass it on. That's another big thing.
Very good. Lance?
Yeah, I wanted to ask Chris, what are some of the reasons why a young person, or any person for that matter, would want to consider the HVACR trade for their career?
If you like working with your hands, if you like figuring out problems, if you like to see the rewards of your work, hey, I've got that fixed, or hey, I installed that system, this is for you. if you don't want to be confined into a cubicle, your job site would be your office. You meet new people. Eventually, if you get the training, and if you want to, you can own your own business. It's a very rewarding career if somebody wants to pursue it, and I would suggest doing so.
Got to begin to wrap it up. Do want to mention real quickly, of course, that Lance, your website. Make sure you mention that again.
Yes, it's ssdhvac.com.
And, of course, our guest today can be found at metroclimateservices.com. And this article, this interview, rather, is also going to be featured at the national news website, usdailyreview.com. And so not only will our folks here get it, but people all over the country and, of course, the DFW area as well. I love that ability to provide that footprint. And last question to you, Lance, to give as we wrap it up, or last thoughts?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Chris, how can people find out more about our industry, or the opportunities available, and where to get started?
You can go to TCCD, which is Tarrant County Community College. There we have our training program on there. You can go to ACCA. They have some good material there. You can just do a general Google search on air conditioning and refrigeration repair. A lot of great information out there.
Very good. Gentlemen, thanks to both of you for a great segment. Do appreciate it. And again, metroclimateservices.com. Make sure you check that out. And Lance, as always, love having you on the program. You can learn more about Lance Malone at ssdhvac.com. When we come back, much more for you. Do want to remind you, best content here shows up over there at US Daily Review, and this is The Price of Business.